Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mr. Les, and everybody for coming here today. It's really an honor to be here and to see a lot of familiar faces and of course, some I'm getting to know. So good to be here, and I do appreciate everybody coming. Today, I took a big step towards fulfilling a lifelong dream. And today, I officially become a candidate for the South Carolina House of Representatives. And while today is a big step, it's only the first step. The next step will be to win the nomination in June and then win this election in November. I couldn't be more excited to be running for this office, to be representing the great people of Union County and the people in Lawrence County. But I'm not a politician. And like David Sinclair and Amy Austin and Jeff Bailey, I'm not a politician and I don't plan on becoming one. We're just conservative Christians, as these people have already said. We're just frustrated with being on the sidelines. Personally, I felt like I've been preaching to the choir for several years. And so I just want a chance to do something different, to try to make a difference in a different arena. So I'm excited to be in this race and to be running. Even though I'm not a politician, I've had the opportunity to have sat on boards and committees over the years. I've been on the Union County's Comprehensive Health Committee. I've spoken about that. Several years ago, there was a movement to introduce contraception into our schools. As the chairman of that committee, I fought back, and we won. We went before the school board with a new curriculum, and because of that, not only is Union County recommitted to its commitment to abstinence education, but we've also seen a sharp decline in the number of pregnancies among our students. Last year in Congress, they began to debate giving out contraception to our schools again. If elected, I will take the same fight from Union County to Columbia. I will look at the state the way I looked at the school, and I will say, you don't get to be the parent. You don't know more than the parents. This is a decision that should be made at home by families. And so I'd love to take that fight back to them. I'm also proud of the grassroots work we've done with the Pain Capable Unborn Child Protection Act. It took 3 years, writing letters and making calls and encouraging other people to do the same. But last week, the bill finally passed. And once Governor Haley signs it into law, it will be illegal to have an abortion at 20 weeks in South Carolina. That is great news. It's great news because children have finally been recognized as having a constitutional right. Inside the womb at 20 weeks, they can feel pain. And so now our lawmakers have said these children cannot be subjected to cruel and unusual punishment. Well, that's one constitutional right. I want to fight for another, their 14th Amendment right, that says that every American is guaranteed the right to life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. And so I pledge to author and introduce the Life Begins at Conception Act, and we can protect our tiniest South Carolinians from day one. I also want to stand up for individual freedom, religious freedom, whether it's that football coach who's worried if he prays with his team he might lose his job, or that Christian business owner, or that student that fears that they have to leave their faith in the locker room or in their car or their house when they leave, or whether it's the pastor or the church member that fears that they have to use their facilities or perform weddings that they view as unbiblical. And some have told me, those are national issues. You need to think more locally. Well, I disagree with that. An issue can be both national and local at the same time. Just because they talk about something in D.C. doesn't mean we can't talk about it in S.C. We can't sit around and wait for Washington to protect our citizens. We have to demand action now in Columbia. And so I reject that notion. There was a clerk of the court in Kentucky that sat in jail because her state legislator had nothing on the books to protect her. And when that happened in the summer, her lawmakers had already gone home and called it a year. And so there she sat with nobody to protect her. And so people say that's a national issue. Am I supposed to look these Christian business owners or pastors or coaches, I'm supposed to look them in the eye and say, hang tight, Washington's got your back. Let's just wait for Washington to protect you. It's not going to happen. And so we can demand that Columbia will. When this issue started back in the summer, our lawmakers had gone home. When they came back in January, this should have been a top priority, but it's not. I promise I will make it one. I will put the pressure on to protect all of our citizens of faith. But there are issues that are exclusively local. We could talk about our roads. As these people drive by, everybody in the sound of my voice knows we have a problem. We can repair our roads, and we can do it without raising taxes. We can do it without a gas tax hike. 3 weeks ago, I first began saying that Congress wants to tax our gas now that we finally see a relief at the pump. Since I started saying that 3 weeks ago, gas has gone up 14 cents. Just imagine if they had taxed it 3 weeks ago, where it would be right now. People are struggling. In this economy, the last thing we can afford is a gas tax. The last thing we can afford is any tax increase. Not just in Union County, but I've been spending time in Lawrence County, going to Joanna. They've been hit hard in Joanna. The times are tough. The economy is rough. And the last thing they need is to keep replacing tires that are blown out from potholes, or alignment that is continually messed up because our roads are in disrepair. We have a $1.3 billion surplus designated just for infrastructure. We need to use that with no strings attached. Not attached to a transportation bill, not committed to a gas tax hike, but just to fix the roads that we have to drive on every single day. We need to improve our schools. One way to do that is to demand our fair share. I've said it before, but Spartanburg and Greenville continually get a larger piece of the pie. I know they have more students than us, but if anything, that just goes to show that we need our fair share a little more often because we're trying to do more with less. And so I will fight to make sure Union County doesn't get overlooked again, that we don't get shortchanged again. And then finally, I want to protect our business owners. I want to be very pro-business, local business, and encourage our residents to keep business at home. Whenever we go to Spartanburg or Rock Hill or somewhere else to do something we could do at home, we're choosing to invest in their economy instead of our own. So I want to encourage people to keep business local as much as possible. I know there's some things we can't do here, and I understand that. But if we can spend money at home, let's spend it at home. And so I want to highlight those business owners, those organizations, those ministries that are going above and beyond and giving people more reason to stay home. That's why a month ago I started on my website a series I call A More Perfect Union, where I'm highlighting those people that are doing a little something extra. Whether it's right down the road here, Mr. Clowney at Fresh Seafood on Main, not only giving us fresh fish, but calamari and oysters and even alligator, things that we can't get around here. Another reason to stay home. Or whether it's Ann and Wayne Comtois at Kirby's Cake Shop giving us Reuben sandwiches and gumbo, something nobody else is doing here. Or whether it's in Buffalo at Apple Blossom Bakery, the Champions, with Hershey's ice cream and delicious waffle cones. Even in Lawrence County, Christ Central Ministries that took an old converted school and they run a soup kitchen and a clothes closet and a library and many other great ministries. And so I want to continue to highlight people like that and say, you keep doing what you're doing, investing in this county, demanding better, and we have your back. We will promote your business, so keep investing at home. And if elected, I will continue to dine out and shop in our own local restaurants and establishments to let those business owners know that I give it my seal of approval, but more importantly, how can I represent somebody if I'm never in their store, if I'm never in their restaurant, to see what their needs are and how I can be of help. And so I commit to continue to stay home and do all my business, if I can, right here. So even though this race is a dream of mine, it's not me that I'm running for. I'm running to do all that I can to repair our roads, improve our schools, protect individual freedom, fend off tax increases, resist government regulation, speak up for the unborn, and promote pride in our great district. So I'm asking for the support of everyone in District 42. Together, we can demand better. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. God bless you.